All right, I think we're live. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for hanging out here and joining me for this free webinar to introduce Evoto. Looks like everyone is jumping in here, so hello, hello. Looks like we got people from all over, from Minnesota to warm Philly, Michigan, Dallas, Texas, San Diego. Awesome, thanks for jumping in here. And we are getting started right away because I'm a little bit behind. We were chatting a little bit before. I just wanted to make sure we had everything set with the crew from Evoto. So with that, I'm going to share my screen and get rolling. Just a second. Here we go. All right. So we're going to talk today, cover just a few of the highlights of Evoto. There's a lot of things that you can do with Evoto. I'm just going to cover some of the basics with it and basically using how I use Evoto to effortlessly retouch a session in minutes. A special thanks to Evoto for having me do this free webinar. I am not an employee by Evoto. I just love the software and wanted to help promote them. And they said, hey, yeah, you want to do a webinar? I said, absolutely. So that's where we're at. Please save the questions till the end. I know Amy is on board here too. She might be answering some questions as we go, but I will be glad to answer what I can at the end. She may answer some as we go, but I'm going to try and stay focused on my presentation so I don't jump all over the place because I know everyone's time is very important. So I'm trying to stick to that 1 hour time frame. I'll stay extra and answer questions, as well, not a problem. Real quick, a little bit about me. If you don't know anything about me, I'm just going to look real quick. Yep. My name is Dan Freevault. I'm a master photographer, master artist, and craftsman photographer. Those degrees I earned from PPA, which is the Professional Photographers of America. I've won some awards, some of the big ones that are Canon Par Excellence Award, some Kodak Gallery Awards, Fuji Masterpiece Awards, and I was on Team USA for the World Photographic Cup. So those are all things I'm very proud of, but I really just love empowering individuals to recognize their full potential. And if that's through me taking a photograph of them or doing a session with them, or if it's doing a training like this and helping photographers, I really love to do that, as and teaching really helps to do that as well. So that's why I love teaching and doing these webinars, doing in-person speaking events and mentoring. So a little bit more about me. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this, but I am a professional photographer. I'm based in Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin. If you are a Packer fan, that's right where I'm located. I was a graphic artist before that, but a professional photographer from 2006 to present. I run a full-time photography studio. It's Freevault Photography. I specialize in photographing high school seniors. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's just Dan Freevault. I also run my education website for photographers, which is called Seniors Unlocked. So I unlock all the secrets that I've come up with over the year to run a senior photography business, to photograph seniors, all that good stuff. Established that in 2015. Instagram for that is just Seniors Unlocked. And in 2021, I created the Peak Senior Summit, which is an online education summit that happens for like 3 days. This year is going to be in January. So keep your eye out for that. I also have some freebies. So if you wait till the end, I'm going to give you a link for so you can sign up for some freebies, and which is doing off-camera flash and dramatic skies, which I'm going to show you some of those images here and how to retouch those. All right, enough about me. Let's go. So let me quit this and open up Evoto. Okay. Looks like everyone's still here, so good. I just want to make sure everything's running smooth. Hold on, let me get to Evoto. Okay. Real quick, before I get in here, just type in the chat real quick is if you guys have used Evoto before or if you're brand new. So just say brand new or used it before. How about that? Kind of get a basis on everyone where they're at with using the software. Oh, a lot so far. A lot of newbies use it some. Used it a little bit. Okay. Only used it once. Great. Oh, nice. Okay. Awesome. And I think someone asked about a recording, and it looks like Amy answered it. There will be a recording. But yeah, awesome. A lot all over the place, but it seems like a lot of newbies at least. And if you look at, I think there's like a sticky thing. If you want 30 free credits, there should be a sticky comment, a sticky message. You can click on that link, get 30 free credits to test it out. All right, awesome. Let's jump in now. Let me move some windows around here. I have several different windows. I'm going to move this over here, I think. And I'm going to pull up Evoto. Okay. So now I can see both at once. Okay, good. All right. So when you launch Evoto and pull some images in, I'll show you that workflow in a second. But first, I'm just going to show you how easy it is to retouch a subject. So this is a high school senior. You know, even with makeup and stuff, there's blemishes. So it's very easy. You know, there's different tabs over here. You know, color adjustments, but we're going to talk about retouching here. Evoto also has like presets, you know, kind of installed here that you can use. You can definitely do that, or it's very easy to make your own. So if I just do natural, click on this, you can see, boom, the retouching is basically done. And it does some of these, you know, sliders automatically. Let me go back. Or what you can do is just kind of create your own. It's real easy. Just kind of slide it till you get what you like. You know, you can do body blemish, reduce face shine. I love that. Face, forehead wrinkle, you know, just based on the image. Let me zoom in a little bit more on here so you can see kind of what it's doing. Eye wrinkles, dark circle. You can see how that softens in there. There's eyeglasses glare, what they added, which is super cool. Move some eye bags like that. Lip wrinkles and flakes, they just added that recently. You see how that softens the lips. Neck wrinkles, a nice one. I have a really shallow depth of field, so that's not going to be affected here. I'll show you some of that later. There's double chin. This is new armpit retouch, which is nice. But that's basically it. You can also go into, you know, skin retouching if you want to kind of smooth the face out more. I don't do a whole lot of this, just usually a little bit. Some face smoothing, not a whole lot. And then I do like the satin, crank up this texture, crank up this clarity. So they still have pores on it. And if you hit the space bar, you kind of see a before and after, just like that. You'll notice that I have the logo, the Evoto logo on here. But when you export the image, that logo will not be on there. It's a pay per image per credit is how it works. It's little as like what, 5 to 7 cents an image to export. So super affordable. You can do some unify face complexion. You can do more of this. I don't always do a whole lot of that. I don't do facial reshape. Teeth retouch. I do usually do a little teeth whitening. All these young seniors are partaking in a lot of coffee. I call it the Starbucks effect. So they want their teeth whitened. You can easily do that. Eyes, you can do a little bit of brightness and stuff as well. Again, I shouldn't say again, but you're the artist. You're going to hear me say this a lot. You're the artist. It's like if you're a chef, you just kind of do the recipe, what fits your style. And what I love about this is it's just sliders. It's super easy to just slide these things. Glass glare, I'll go over that in a bit as well. You know, you can add makeup, do hair. Stray hair removal is a nice feature they added. This one isn't so bad. Isn't that bad? But you can see, boom, that stray hairs is removed. You can tweak this. You can say beyond figure, kind of tweak it just like that. You can see how it also does some of these stray hairs right within the subject as well, which is nice. So boom, that image is retouched. And actually that took a long time, believe it or not, because I was showing you how to use it. But now what you can do is you could save that preset. If that's your flavor, that's your style, that's, what you would normally do for either this senior or other seniors or a female senior, you can just save that, and I'm going to name this Evo webinar demo retouch. Okay, I'm going to put it in my demo presets. You can make different groups and stuff to help keep you organized. I've done a lot of these different demos, so I try and put it in there so I kind of know what's going on. So now that I have that done, I could add it to a different senior. Now I could go right in here. I could go into my presets, my demo presets, and I could click on that, and now boom, that image is retouched. Simple as that. So I'm going to come back to this group of images in a second. Once I get done, I'm going to show you my entire workflow. And then I'm going to come back and show you, different things, how it works with guys, how it works with Freckles, how it works with two different subjects, different replacing skies, all the different things it can do. So I have a bunch of different examples of how to do that. But this is a lot about workflow. I'm going to show you kind of real world how I would retouch a complete session in just a few minutes. I'm just going to look at this. All right, so with that, let me just kind of get over into my bridge. Okay. So I'm going to go to the home here. I'm going to say create a new project. I'm going to call this Evoto webinar full session retouch. It's going to hit save. Okay, now I'm going to import my images. What I do, I'm going to bring all these images in. These are from Bridge. You're not going to probably see this part, but I'm just going to drag and drop these images in. These are raw files. So I shoot the Sony A9 III. That's what these images are from. And I just drop all the raw files in. So this is a complete session. This is how many images here? Let's see, 91 images. I usually show around 90, 80 to 100 images in my senior sessions from a 2.5 hour session. So that's what you're seeing here. And boom, they're just dropped in. I cull those images first. So I'm going to shoot more than 90 to 100 images, obviously, because I'm an overshooter. Raise your hand if you're an overshooter, especially with digital. And so what I do first is I just cull the images. I cull those simply in Bridge. I give them a 3-star rating, my favorites, and then I just dump those 3-star ratings into here. So I narrow it down to 90 images. You can, however you cull, that's, we won't go over how other ways to cull. That's a whole nother webinar, but just to let you know, I'm bringing raw files in. Now, I brought this session in is because this, like I mentioned earlier, is from my A9 III. It's the Sony camera with the global shutter. These are straight out of camera images. You can see how my exposure varies. Boom, I was way off with this one. I'm showing you this, A, because I'm not perfect, and B, I'm still kind of learning some of the ins and outs with that global shutter. So this was a great, I feel, session to kind of show you some of the power with quickly retouching a bunch of images. Also, you'll notice on this particular area, I always struggle because right behind me is an orange brick wall. And as the sun hits that area, you can see how it went from this, and then the sun kind of came out behind the clouds, and it hit that wall and got really orange on me. So within a few seconds, you can see how that color temperature really was all over the place. And I am using off-camera flash, but the majority of my color is coming from natural light. So keep that in mind. I also use like a gel for this sport stuff in here, for this gritty sports stuff. And then we did some backlit stuff. So I'll show you some of this hair removal as well. But that kind of gives you a full kind of idea session. Green, overcast stuff as well when we get into this nature waterfall area. So first thing I do is I have a preset already created. If you go here, and it is the first pass girl AI color. So I'm going to click on that. That's going to kind of tweak this and get it closer. It's kind of an auto adjustment. So it kind of auto adjusts exposure and color temperature. And like I said, because I'm kind of all over the place, especially with this new camera, if I click it on this one as well, you're going to see how it kind of auto adjusts everything, which is nice. Now, to create your own, Evoto has these really cool, if you go into the color, AI color looks, and you can do that. They have a bunch of preset ones in here. I just used this neutral one, kind of tweaked it, as well as tweaked some of the color things, and then saved that preset. So the AI color looks are really nice because they do kind of an auto adjustment for you. So let's retouch this whole session like super quick. Like I said, 90 some images. So what I'm gonna do is I already hit this preset on here, and now I'm just gonna go all the way to the end, hit shift click here, click on the color palette there and hit sync. And I'm like, boom, I wanna sync the AI color, color adjustments, portrait retouching, everything. I should mention also that this preset that I created, let me go back. I saved it with the retouching as well. So if I go into retouching, you can see it has these sliders, so all the retouching is on there. Another nice thing about using the AI color profiles is you can stack retouching and color together. So with that, I'm going to go back over here, click here, hit sync, and now basically within seconds, it's going to color adjust all my images. It's going to tweak the exposure to kind of get it as balanced as possible. And it's going to tweak the color. And I already mentioned that. Retouch all the images. Is it going to be 100% perfect? No, but it's good enough for the sales presentation. I always stress when I teach is not to retouch every image, because you're going to retouch every image, and they are not going to order 91 images most likely. But with Evoto, you can do that because it doesn't take long at all. In the old days, when you hand retouch, and it took anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes to retouch every image, that was a lot of time that you would be wasting on an image. So I would only retouch in the old days a couple images, show those, and then whatever they ordered, go back and fully retouch. Now with the ease and the quickness of Evoto, I'm showing fully retouched images, or 99% retouched images to them. If they order a large 30 by 40 or something, I'm going to go back in and kind of just make sure the retouching is really solid and on point. So all this retouching is done instantly. Now this image, it was overexposed, and so Evoto got it pretty close, but I can just go in here and kind of just slide that exposure down a little bit and get it better. So what I do is I kind of just look at the images, kind of scroll through them real quick, make sure they're good. This was that other one that was way off with exposure. So I'm just gonna bring that exposure kind of down and eyeball it. So this is what I'm doing. Boom, boom, boom. You can see if I zoom in here, do the before and after. Now her skin isn't that bad, but you can see how quickly it retouched it. Like that first image of the girl I showed you, it would look like that. That girl would be fully retouched. You'd see more of an extreme case. So now you're going to see, this one here, it did a pretty good job. It's still kind of orange, but not as orange as what it is. And again, I'm not sure what, this is a webinar. I'm looking at my calibrated screen. Whatever's being broadcasted to you may look completely different. Just keep in mind, I don't have control over that. So I'm going to tweak the temperature a little bit more. The other nice thing, I'm gonna try not to get too far into this because there's so many different things I could show you. You could do full image. You can do, different things like background and custom if it pulls it out. I just usually do full image. Now let's say, let's go here. Let's go to this particular image right here. And I want to rotate this because I want it the other direction. So I just hit C for crop. I'm going to rotate this. And now that image is up. It's already retouched, but let's say I want to give it a kind of a funky effect. I have different presets that I created. So where did I put that? I think it's under demo. Cinematic teal. Let's do cinematic teal. So now I can stack this on. Now this has kind of a color effect to it. It really pop those eyes, give this kind of green kind of tone to it. And so that's pretty cool. You can also go in and use some of their different presets and tweak them. There's AI presets here. Oh, I'm clicking a little too fast. It's lagging with the webinar software. You can also tone it down. So, or tone it up, whatever you want to do. Just kind of, again, add your spice, add your flavor to it. They also have, I don't use them that often, filters. So you can go in here and you can, just lose yourself with some of these things. They're kind of like presets or actions in Photoshop or presets in Lightroom. You can, do that. And again, the cool thing is you can kind of tweak these, you can stack them, and then just create your own. So when you're done, when you're done, you can just hit save preset. I don't really like this one, it's too dark, but if I wanted to save it, I could save it. And then I could apply it to another image. Simple as that. I don't like that. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to my history. I can go back to the beginning, or I can just, take off what I want. I think I'm going to go, if I click here, I'm going to go back to cinematic teal, and I'm back to that. If I wanted to apply that cinematic teal to this next image, I can just hit Command C for copy and Command V for paste. See my feed in here, or I can paste that in if I wanted to add it to this image, which I wouldn't do, but I can, or I can click these two and I can hit sync. And now it's going to sync it. If I click and then come back, you can see how this one, give it a second, will have that cinematic teal tone to it. So that's how I kind of go through and do everything. Everything, like I said, is pretty much all retouched already. If I wanted some funkiness on this one's a little underexposed. Oh, see, it fixed it. This was catching up. But let's say I wanted to isolate this green. A lot of, that's under color, the color palette. A lot of the same functions you'll see in Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw are in here. So I can go in color gradient detail, grain, color calibration, lens correction, curves, but I can go in here and I can go into saturation and I can say green. Let's say I want to bump that green up. And you'll see that green gel now kind of saturated more or if I wanted to turn it down, can kind of isolate that. So that's pretty slick. And again, with anything, I can select these, then I can hit sync, and now it's going to sync those adjustments that I just made. So just like that. Let's take a look at this. I was going to show this in the other area, but I'll show it here as well. You can see, let's zoom in here, that like here's all this before. This is, all the stray hair. And when I set that preset in, and boom, it softened that stray hair and gave it a cool kind of exposure to it. Now I shoot a lot of this backlit stuff in the fields. So I also created like a not the deep sky, golden hour, just like that. So that just gives it kind of that golden tone. So if I wanted to apply that golden tone to all of these in this kind of field area, again, I can just click here. I click the first one where I added that golden tone, hit sync, and it's going to drop it on all of those images in that area. The other thing, so this one, for instance, you can see there's mosquitoes flying in the background. In Wisconsin, we've had a lot of rain this year. The mosquitoes are terrible, always, and they're even worse this year. So you can go in, I can do the healing tool here. And if I wanted to, I can just go bink, bink, here, and remove those. And now those little mosquitoes are also gone. So quick, so easy. So before, after, just like that. You can see I also have like softening the neck, softens that. So that's pretty much how I retouch a whole session. I just kind of take a look. These all look good. And then what I would do is just export these out. She's laughing. So I can then just select all and then hit export. So you don't get charged until you export. The other good thing is, let me go back here. What, these are 91 images. Just look here. Yeah. So if I hit export, I don't get charged until I get exported. And then let's say they ordered X amount of images and I wanted to come back and tweak these even further. I only get charged once per export. So I could export all these 91 images a bunch of times. As long as I don't move them from the original source location, I only get charged once for them. So that's nice. So I can retouch, I can tweak this image as many times as I want, retouch as many times as I want, I only get charged once. So that's awesome. I export, I'm not going to export these, but I export those. I export my images as JPEGs. You can do TIFFs, as well. JPEGs, oops. Yeah, JPEGs, 100%. That is good enough for me. They're plenty large enough. I was doing TIFFs and then converting them to PSD files afterwards, but I've been using this for over a year. I don't have any problems with the JPEGs printing 30 by 40s. So for me, JPEGs are plenty good. That works great for me. So I do everything from color to retouching right in Evoto. So that is how I would do a whole session. Let's talk some of my favorite little things that it can do. And that's where I'm going to go back here and show you just a bunch of different images. So that way we can cover a bunch of the different features that it has that I really like. Let me look quick. I'm just gonna look at, I'm gonna save the questions again. I just wanna make sure everything's coming in. And it looks like questions are being answered. So awesome, awesome. And I'll go through, answer questions too that weren't maybe covered after I show you some of this. We're doing good on time. So awesome. Actually, real quick, the other thing I mentioned is I would give you, if you like this kind of dramatic, kind of sky looking images like this, I'm going to show you how I tweak this image. If you like that kind of look, want to learn how to do it, I have a free Dramatic Skies ebook. I'll put a link in here as well, where you guys can download that for free. Let me just type this out real quick. Okay. Let me put this in real quick. I think that should work. Okay. I also made a preset for the grungy sport. So if I go in, my presets, and let's see, it's in a grungy sport. If I click on that, oh, that wasn't grungy sport. This was deep sky. So that gives you kind of before and after. It kind of has that blue, funky kind of stuff, pulls out more detail. It's got a really cool look to it. So before, after. One click retouched and color adjusted. So what about guys? Let's talk about guys. Let's show you some. You can make a guy preset. I have senior girl, senior guy. This one's senior guy, kind of with freckles. So boom, I have that preset before and after. Here's another one. The other great thing about Evoto is, like I said, I've been using them for over a year, and they're very open to adding new features, and they're adding new features all the time. So one thing is everyone's like, can you separate the acne from the freckles? So they added that. Can you add glass glare? They did that. How about stray hair removal? They added that. So they're always adding new things, and they're always asking, what would you like a dream feature to be? And boom, they will add it. This boy here has a lot of blemishes and freckles, so I have that preset, boom. But let me do undo and kind of show you what it is. So you can just, just simply slide that. For boys, I don't retouch as much. Don't want it to look plastic. So they have, kind of less here, but I can bring back some of the freckles like that. I would bump the exposure up on this as well. And then one thing to keep in mind, this here, watch this button, because if this is turned off and you're toggle between the retouching, you see how it's retouched here, and then I go to color to adjust the color, and retouching just disappears. Make sure that button's clicked. That way you won't lose your retouching. You won't ever lose it, but when you're switching, toggling between these two, it might kind of mess you up. White teeth is another thing. So I would kind of tweak that there. So he has a little bit whiter teeth. Now, another thing they added is, he does have some of these moles here. This isn't the best example. Let me show you this one, this girl. See, she's got these moles. And if we do retouching, so I already have the retouching on here. Let me go back and go here. So if I do this retouching, let me go full bore. It kind of can sometimes get rid of some of these moles. It did a pretty good job here. Did a really good job, actually. But you can always go in here, and then this mask comes in, and you can click, click, click. I want to reveal those 3 moles for sure. And now they're definitely more apparent. So that's pretty cool. Straight hair removal, let's talk about, I'm jumping all over the place. That's fine. So let's talk this straight hair removal. I'm going to go a little bit more detail on that because it's super cool what it does. So if I go remove stray hairs, you can see it also, let me zoom out. Not only did it take care of some of these around here, around the head, I also took care of these little guys that I can never see when I'm photographing because they're far away. So that's awesome. I love that feature. And I like to put it to the test. So other retouching, automatic retouching software, what I noticed is when girls had their nose pierced, it thought that that was a blemish, but Evoto does a great job of recognizing that. So if I go senior girl and do first this, you're gonna see, boom, it kept her nose piercing. It can tell a difference between that. She's got some of those stray hairs that are just not good. So if she ordered a large print of this, I would probably have to go in and retouch a little bit more. Although, let me see. I may not I do have stray hairs. I could bump this up a little bit more. That one's a little bit harder for it to catch. But this one, for instance, this backlit, I like to keep some of these, and I like, is it gonna tell the difference between all this grass and all this? Well, it does. I keep losing my presets here. So if I go here, it does a good job of tweaking that. And beyond figures, you can kind of tweak this a little bit if you want to bring some of those back. You can see how it's going to bring some of that back if you wanted it. So you have control, which is nice. This is dark and moody, is in the water. This works great. I have like a senior, this is on the demo. This was the grunge sport one I was meant to use before. Just take a second. There we go. And this has a grunge sport. Let's do this. So it kind of gives it that cinematic, kind of a bleach bypass look. All right, I talked earlier about like this neck wrinkles. Now what I try and do is get everything as good as I can in camera, but sometimes I mess up. You know, I'm human. I miss things. There's a million things going on. So I shot this and I noticed the neck. So then the next shot, I made sure I covered it up with hair. I'm always using hair to cover things up, as well as posing and things can really help. The better you can get in the camera, the less you have to do afterwards. But let's say I messed up, or I like this image better because she's looking at me. I could use a preset, but let me just show you in here that neck wrinkle. We'll just cover the neck wrinkle part. Let me go down here. So if I wanted to do that kind of retouching, if I wanted to do the neck wrinkle, I can slide this. You can see, boom, that neck wrinkle is taken care of, as well as let's do hair, straight hair removal. That's too much in my taste. For this image, I want some of those in there. Kind of maybe like that, maybe a little bit more. Maybe something like that. Looks more natural to me. Oh, de-wrinkle clothing, how about that? So they have that, de-wrinkle clothing, slide, boom, clothing's de-wrinkled. Easy as that. I mentioned before, this girl didn't, she's, in her words, she didn't like her double chin. I didn't notice as posing that. I didn't like the arm as much either. So I made some tweaks. So just a turn of the head, you can see by learning proper posing, you can, you know, eliminate some things that you know that they may feel uncomfortable with. But if you didn't catch that, or you're still learning posing and things like that, they do have a double chin slider. So you can go boom here. So before and after. This is new, they just added. And I always try and, again, use hair to cover things up too. These little armpit things, wrinkles, they added that. So I threw some of these images in today. I played with it. This is fairly new just to see what it would do. It's kind of nice. Let's talk more posing here. Oh, I'm going to show two things with this, but we'll talk a little posing too, because, you know, the difference between that image and this image is much more flattering. But let's shine. It's really hot and humid in Wisconsin in the summer. It's cold in the winters. But I love that they have this shine remover. I always used to stress bringing makeup powder. I have dabs that they can put on, those little tissue dabs, but we can't always keep up with it. So they have, oops. They have, I have to find it here because I have presets, you know, for all this. So I don't really have to go in here this often. And of course, I'm talking and looking at the same time. Reduce shine. So just like that. Or if I just use my senior girl preset, you're going to see that it's going to remove shine. It's going to retouch her. It's going to soften all those stray hairs, soften eye bags, lips, everything. So you can see I have that all preset and I just have it saved. So once you have one set, it's pretty set. But let's say this girl had more shine than the typical girl, then I just go back in and just tweak that shine and give it, you know, a little bit more. I just had it up. You think I would know where it is here. So maybe I wanted to, you know, do a little bit more for this girl and then, you know, just then sync it to all the rest of those that are in that same area with her. So boom, let's see this one. It's going to take a second, especially because we're streaming. Take a second, take a look at what it did here. Yeah, boom, set. Let's see what else is going to show you. Boys and blemishes, I tell them, don't worry, we're going to remove any blemishes. You're going to look fantastic with anything that you order. And now they're seeing all these finished images when they come in to order. I do in-person sales, And so I just love this, and my sales have gone up since I started using Evoto because I'm showing almost 99% finished images. So senior guy Freckles, I can click on this, one button, pretty much, boom, retouch everything. There's a couple more here. I always start kind of low. I can always tweak this up based on, the subject and then sync those, but this is my base. There's a couple more here. I can go into that healing tool if I wanted to. I can tweak a little bit more, and boom, those are gone. Braces, I always let them know it would be extra to remove braces. I used to always outsource that because it took way too long. Now you can retouch that and do braces right in Evoto. It does a pretty good job. Just click on this, which is called Pretty Teeth, and before and after, boom, your image is retouched. How about a more extreme case? So senior guy, okay, pretty teeth, boom, just like that. Pretty awesome. Not so extreme case. I know I'm going fast now. I can always go back with this. Boom. You see how it kept, his pretty much his moles and stuff. But like I said, we could go back and bring like some of these neck ones if we wanted to bring those back. I wouldn't. They probably don't even realize they have them there. But I could go in and bring those back pretty easily with going up into here. Oops, all the way back up here. Click in here. Click, 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 and hit OK. Now you're going to see those are back. If I wanted to remove those braces, I can go in, hit Pretty Teeth, and braces are gone. Just like that. How awesome is that? Can I get a woohoo? All right, what else is it going to show here? Real quick, a couple of things. If you do headshots or in-studio stuff, let me go here. Headshots, I'm going to do my preset here. Okay, before and after, retouch. If I wanted to change the background, you can go in here. I can say, all right, boom, I want a white background, I want a fabric background. There's more of them. Say I wanted this dark blue background to match her color tones a little bit. If I didn't have that, boom, you can add a different background. You can add your own backgrounds. Let's say I wanted to put my TVs behind her. You can put my TVs behind her. Pretty cool. This is another thing. I photograph dancers and stuff on Seamless. It's always wrinkled. It's always crummy. So clean, solid backdrop. Click this, and boom, takes care of those wrinkles. Pretty awesome. It's another version, clean, solid background. Ooh, solid background. That one's not picking up as much. Oh, it did it down here. Okay. Or a white seamless. Usually it's much dirtier than this. I'll zoom in that you can kind of see. If I go here, it cleans that all those little dust specks up. If it was more wrinkled in the background, let me zoom in, it would take care of that too. The background's not too bad on this one. Just kind of the floor. Glass glare, that was another thing I mentioned that they added. So let's go in here and let's go retouching. Let me go, that's under, they moved it. They had a couple different places. Glass glare, click here, boom, glass glare is gone. How about this one? You can see my strobe in there. Glass glare, gone. Awesome. Pro tip, what I used to do is I suggest that they either wear contacts or that they pop the lenses out. So then you never have to even worry about this. But this makes it even easier so they can wear their normal frames that they're used to wearing. And we can just simply remove that glass glare. Pretty awesome. I mentioned the dramatic skies a little bit. This is kind of that off-camera flash. You see that link if you want to opt in to get that. This kind of gives you that look. And you can go in and kind of tweak this. I have a preset, but let's just go in and well, let's do an AI color look with it. Let's see what it looks like with luxury texture. That's pretty good. Visual impact. Blue, olive green. I think I like luxury texture the best. I can tweak this exposure. I can tweak the clarity if I want. I can play with curves if I want, but kind of gives it that look. Now I'm shooting like at f22, so you can see all the little dirt spots in my sensor. Again, that's not a big deal. I can go in and I can just kind of clone those out, brush those out, wherever they're at. Okay, I can hit okay. Now another thing you can do, I don't do this a lot. I actually never really do it, but let's take a look at it. Why not? Is go in, wait, no, that's color. See, I don't even know where it is. Local. So I can do background. And now if I tweak this, you can see it's changing just the background. It's kind of cool. So if I wanted to make that sky even deeper, but not adjust the subject, or if I wanted the subject, so I click on him, see it makes that mask. I can kind of like bring the exposure up on him. I'm going extreme here. This doesn't look right to me, just so you can see how quickly some of the masking works. Let's get it back to looking more real. Or I can replace this background with a different sky. Sky replacement. So they have different skies in here. You can click on here and replace the sky. You can add your own. So if I wanted to say add my own sky that I've photographed and I dumped these in, these are my own, you can do that. Just make sure it looks real. There was another example of this. Oh, this is kind of cool. So this is another kind of off-camera flash sky, but the sky didn't have a lot of texture or detail to it. So I can go in, I can add, my sky. What's cool is I can tweak this too and make it look, really realistic. I can blur it, change the opacity. I can do the edge adjustment. It does a pretty good job, but I can adjust the edge more, less. I can make it cooler. Well, let me zoom back out. Warmer. Let's go really warm on this. Saturation. So within a few clicks, we can give it a different look. Let's go more extreme. Let's go something like that, like this. Yeah. Or this is in the same area, but there really was no sky at this point, the direction we're in. So we could, add something in there. Well, let's go. I think this one looks a little bit more real. I like the opacity, but let's warm it up. And let's give it a little bit of a blur since it's in the distance. You can change it too, like say I want to move where that sky goes. Maybe I like that better. Give it a little bit of blur. So boom, before and after, we got kind of that cool look. I think I cover pretty much everything here. Shine, different skies. It's another kind of dramatic looking image, but yeah, I think I already covered this with the straight hair. Yeah, cool. Oh, one other thing real quick. I don't do this very often because I'm mostly photographing individuals, but if you're photographing families or different subjects, it identifies between male and female. So if I go into this retouching, it says it's female and male, I can click between the two. Same thing like when I went here, you can see how it switched to male for the retouching. I go here, it recognizes that as a female. So if I have two different ones, so female, and she's got some shine more than he does. He's got a little bit too. It was warm out there in Vegas. Or I'm going to do like maybe, you know, more blemish removal for female than a guy. I don't want the guy to look too plastic looking. Let's go. I can never find that shine because I'm looking for shine. I know that's not what it's called. It's called phase probably. I don't see it now. Where's the shine? You guys probably see it. I'm sorry. This is what happens when I'm on the spot. Oh, I do not see it. I might just skip past it for now. Anyways, I'll skip past it. I'll do something different. So then if I do the male, and you can see his, it's going to be different. Same thing with color. Let's go to extreme. So this can be, you know, person. So if I go him, I can tweak. I'm going to go to extreme so you can tell it's just changing him. We wanted him real blue. Boom, shows, you know, the difference. I want her really orange. I wouldn't do this, but just to be crazy because it's goofy webinar, I can tell you how it does a good job separating the two. It's pretty cool. All right, let's get out of there. Let's go back to, let's say this one. And let me see what questions maybe we have over here. I'm gonna move, I'll look on the screen. Awesome. So I think Amy's been answering questions as we go. It's probably been under my name. Yep, it does look that way. I'm not two people at once. She's taking care of the questions, but it's under my name because they set the webinar up, I think, under my name. You probably figured that out by now. Oh, I don't know which ones she answered. I'm gonna go. We're all screaming up. Yes, I know. Isn't that crazy? Everyone's like up, up, up. It's right there in front of you. That's what happens. I'm not gonna go back there again. You get the point. Reduce face shine. Yes, I'm always looking for the S for shine, but it's reduce face shine. Thank you. So let me look. Some of the questions are coming in here. I'm gonna stay extra. Oh, before I do that, let me give you real quick. Up on top, you see the sticky note for 30 free credits, or if you want to get that off-camera flash Dramatic Skies free ebook from me, I'm gonna pop that in here as well for joining us. There will be a replay. You will get a link also. Evoto has a summer promotion coming out. So with the replay link, you will get a link to that as well. So they're gonna share that with you. That's not through me. I had notes here too. I totally went off notes, but I think I covered everything. I did, except for the promo that Evoto wanted me to mention, which I just did. We got the 30 free credits. We have my ebook if you want to sign up for that. Okay. Will the video be available on YouTube? It'll be a replay, so I don't think it'll be on YouTube. I'm making a YouTube video. If you sign up for that ebook, you'll be on my email list and you'll get notifications of trainings that I do, not just Evoto, but off-camera flash, photographing seniors, marketing, sales, everything has to do with seniors as well as the Peak Senior Summit. The only cost is the credits, yes. And like I mentioned before, depending on how many credits you buy at once, the less expensive they are. And each time you export an image, it's 1 credit. But if I export the same image over and over and over, as long as I keep it in the same root directory on your hard drive, you only get charged for it once, no matter how many times you export it. When you do the braces removal, can you bring the teeth whitening down so it's not so bright white? Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. Let's test it out. Yep, it made it darker. So there to here. I don't know if you can see that on your end, but it definitely, that's whiter, or brightness too, you know. I can take and tweak that. So that is adjustable. So what, you know, this was before. You can see the yellowness there, and that's not as much. Okay. So Deborah's saying, will it recognize a family pick of maybe 5 and work with each individual? I believe so. I don't photograph a lot of seniors. I should have brought one of those in, but I'm pretty certain it does recognize it. And if it doesn't, let me go back to this crazy one here. You see it says male, female, child, elderly, all, individual. You can kind of go through and you can say, I think right here. Oh, yeah, see, this is female, male. So you can identify. If it doesn't identify, I could say, I want this to be an elderly person. So you can kind of go back and do that. And I don't even have any family pictures at my disposal right now to do it. But, you know, download it, play around with it. That's the best advice I can have if you're a family photographer. But you can go in and you can tweak some of that up here. Let me take a look here. I'm going up the opposite way with questions. The replay will be emailed out to you, I believe. Where do you export the images to? You export them to your hard drive. I have a system in place where I export them. So I just call them Evoto exports. So I kind of have a root directory set up for every client. One is originals, and I cull and bridge. I do 3 stars. I move those 3-star images into another folder that says culled images or edits. Then those are the images I bring in. So those are the images, because I'm not bringing in extra images that I don't need. You can cull right in here as well if you want to do that. You can do ratings, you know. You can cull right in here and then filter by 3 stars if you want. So if I wanted to go back in and give this like a 2-star, and let's say give this a 2-star, and then just say, just show me the 3 stars. Boom. So you can cull right in here as well. So you can use it for culling as well. And you won't get charged if you bring all, let's say you photograph 200 images, but you don't want to cull down to 90. You can cull right in here, filter by, you know, 3 stars or whatever your system is, then do the retouching, then export those 3 stars. You don't want to get charged for those 90, you know, or so 3 stars. So, and then I export them into another folder that just says Evoto. And then I use those. I create a slideshow. I'm getting off into sales here, but I create a slideshow and all that to show the client, as well as using in-person sales software like Enview. So I'm going off on a tangent. I'll try and stick to just Evoto and retouching. I could go on forever. Okay. So Kathy says, is there an auto setting for exposure when making a preset? How do you get the brightness to be similar in all photos? Yes, that's the AI preset. So that's where I have my preset made. So if you're going to make a like kind of color adjustment setting that'll adjust every image and do kind of an auto setting for each one for color adjustment and exposure, make sure you use an AI preset to start with. And I just use a neutral one because I want everything to kind of just be neutral to begin with. And then I can tweak based on my style, based on the image, based on the type of look I want. So my sport images are more grungy. So then when I get to that sport one, I created a different preset for the sport one. But just to start out, I'm using this. So to make your own kind of preset, just start with like, say, a neutral. Let me go back like this one. Go back into the history. So this is the raw image. So if you just click on neutral, it's going to kind of, if I do before and after, you see how I adjust the color. It didn't really adjust the exposure that much because it was pretty much dead on. But you know, let's say you underexpose a little bit, like sometimes normally I do, you can, you know, kind of add a little boost of exposure if you want, a little bit of brightness if you want, contrast. Like you can kind of build your look using the base neutral profile or whatever these profiles, okay? Then you can go into retouching, and then you can also, that's what I like about the AI profiles, is you can, you know, do all your retouching and you know, kind of do all that. I'm not going to do all that, and then you can hit save. Now, you know, I'm just going to call this, you know, demo retouch AI base or something. Okay, make sure these are selected because I won't make sure I want these all to be included in that. That's in my demo, and then I hit save. So now, you know, if I wanted to apply that to this one, if I go back here where it's orange and off, and I go to my presets, whoops, my presets, demo retouch, if I hit OK, it's going to get it pretty close. And then I just shift select all of these, or the entire session, like I showed in the beginning, and hit sync. And I want, yes, I want to sync all of these and hit save. Now it's going to retouch and color balance and auto color balance, auto exposure adjust each one of those images. Doesn't, you know, matter where it was shot. So that's pretty cool. Or if I wanted kind of a, you know, like I said, more of a that golden look, I could start with my base retouch, but then when I come back in and say golden hour, it's going to override that and give it this golden hour look. Hopefully that answered your question. I seem to have to apply a camera standard in a develop setting in Lightroom first, but was wondering if there's a way to do that in Evoto. Yeah, you can, like I showed here, these are all raw images. I'm doing all my color. I don't use Lightroom anymore. I don't use Capture One anymore. I do this to do my raw conversion, my color, and retouching all in one. Do the credits expire? How long do they last? I believe the credits last a year and they expire after a year. So based on your workflow, how many you think you're going to use per year, they do expire after a year, I believe. Do I have an ebook on posing? I don't have an ebook on posing. I actually have something better. I have a posing app as well as a posing, it's called the Ultimate Posing Pack, which is an app and it tells you, it's an instructional tutorial, several different videos, I think 15 different videos on posing. So I do have that. I can put a link into that real quick too, if you give me a second. I wasn't planning on putting that in, but what the heck, we'll put it in. Here's the posing information. Yes, the only cost is the credits. I think I covered that. Oh, Steve says, how do you add images to backgrounds so that they are not distorted? That's a good question. They just, that's just one of the new updates. I think it just came out this week, where you can undistort the background images that you import. I haven't played with that yet. Is there a way to fill the studio backdrop paper edges stretch to paper? No, not in Evoto. And you know, Evoto has a ton of different features. There's some things that it's limited to that I still do in Photoshop, like composites, like putting backgrounds in, stretching backgrounds. So it's not going to do everything, but it does a ton of stuff. So I look at it more as color and retouching. Those are what my main things are. If I'm going to do composites, all my composites, my montages, stretching backgrounds and stuff, I do that in Photoshop still. Same thing with extractions. Can you sharpen? Yes, you can sharpen. That's under the color adjustments here, which is like clarity, as well as, oh, actually full image. Clarity, and then it's under lens correction. Nope. That's grain, lens correction, color. I don't think it's under color either. It's in here somewhere. Detail, sharpen. So, yeah, you can sharpen images if you want, however you want. See, it's majorly sharpened now. So similar like what you would do in RAW or Lightroom, sharpen is in there. You guys are still seeing this? Oh yeah, you are, good. Okay. Do I sell my personal Evoto presets? Regina is asking. No, I don't yet, but it's so easy to make your own. Reach out to me. I can put a, I'm kind of working on a bundle. I'm not sure how shareable. I think they are shareable now. I think that was kind of the holdup, but I think if I click here, if I right click, I can share presets. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I think they added that where I can share them now. It's pretty cool. Is there a way to see RGB color percentages like in Lightroom? That always helps me check skin tone accuracy versus just eyeballing it. Aaron, that is a great question, and that is a great technique. As you saw, I just eyeball things. But I believe, I'm not sure, like in curves, I think you can, this might be what you're looking for, or not that. It might be under color grading. No, there's not really numbers in here either. Up here is like the histogram, so I don't think that's where we're looking either. I'm not sure on that question because I don't do it. Okay. So I guess we're back to, yeah, if they've used it or not. So it looks like the questions, oh, Q&A only. Oh, whole nother section I just noticed. If I'm photographing an event, can I adjust, if I'm photographing an event, I can adjust individuals, a game changer. Okay, that was more of a statement, okay. Okay, yeah, he clarified. Haven't found a way to duplicate an image. Is that available? No, there. I don't believe so. You can't duplicate like you can in like Lightroom. So if you want, basically, they just added like a black and white where you can have a color in black and white. But I can't take this image, let's say, give it this preset, duplicate it, and then give it like another preset. What you would need to do is export it. Again, you're only getting charged once, so you'd export it, let's say with this preset, then add a different preset, and then export it again. Then you'd have two different images on your hard drive if you want to do different looks and show different looks. I don't personally do that, but that's how you could do that. Or that's how you would do it in Evoto. Okay, some of these are answered. Question from Bat. By using the raw file, is there a benefit of the additional data, or would you get similar results with a JPEG? Yeah, raw is always going to have your most data to begin with. So that's why I shoot raw. That's why I bring raw into Evoto, so I can correct the mistakes that I have when I photograph. So you have a lot more leeway, especially with these new like Sony cameras. The sensors are amazing. All these mirrorless cameras, the sensors are pretty amazing unless you blow out the background. So that's why I am always trying to, or I shoot on the side of underexposing, because if something's blown out, it's hard to recover at that point. You can see even in the sky, there's a little bit of detail here. Say underexposed. My off-camera flash, my light was too far away. My assistant was way off to the side, over to the left of this girl. I told her to look to her, look down this way, so the light wasn't really hitting her, and I didn't want her to move in front and crush all these flowers. We're getting eaten by mosquitoes. Yes, I want to get it as close as I can in camera, but sometimes I don't. So boom, quick. It's so much quicker now to fix it. I hate to say that, but it is. But it doesn't mean I don't try and still get it right in camera. Oh, good question here. Is there a way to fix tan lines or even out skin tones to match the face and legs? That is a great question. What's a good example? What's a good example? It not exactly. It does a pretty good job. What I do again is I try and fix things before they're an issue, and I know you don't always have that control. Let's say if you're a wedding or family photographer, since I'm a senior photographer, I'm stressing don't get tan lines, don't get sunburn, take your watches off so you don't get tan lines on your wrist, things like that. I try, especially a few weeks before the session, I try and take care of all that ahead of time in my consultations. You may not have that option, or you just don't have some control. But what they do have is, let me go back here. It's kind of a body evening. So if I go back here, well, no, let me go back. I'll show you that. So I don't know if this is a good example, but if I go down, there's a skin retouching, body skin smoothing, but then they also have like a unified face complexion, unified body complexion. So if I slide this, see I had it just a little bit, but if I go way up, let's see what it does. You can see how well, let me do it this way. You can see how it changes that body complexion a little bit. Let's see how it does. Let me zoom out a little bit, how it compares to the face. So there to there. Or I can go this one like that. Now you can also tweak, let's say if I wanted to tweak her like skin color, I never do this, but you could tweak it there. You could tweak the amount. You could tweak the temperature, on the face. So there is some kind of tweaking this there, same with rosy complexion. This you can add like a rosy complexion. There's all kinds of makeup stuff you can do that I don't mess with, but you can get in here and you can add, makeup, lip makeup. You can add, different things, different eyebrows, different things. I don't mess with any of this really, but you can do that. You can contour. So it's pretty powerful, what you can do. You can also, again, because I'm photographing high school seniors, if I photograph models and more high-end retouching, I might mess with that more, but I don't. I photograph seniors, I want to keep them pretty close to what they look like, which is blemish kind of removal, things like that. Now you can also, I don't do this either, but if I go in, sometimes you can separate just the do different color. Yeah, this is just, the whole person in the background. So it would be more under the retouching like I showed. There was another example, this one here, oops. So this one here, if I go and then if I do unified body complexion, you see how that kind of made it all more even. So that's kind of the before and after. So it does kind of isolate some of that stuff if you want to unify that. So good question. Best way to work with Photoshop. Some people are looking for a plugin. I don't. What I do is I, export all the images out of here, and then if I want to take certain images and use presets or composite or whatever I want to do in Photoshop, then I just grab those and bring those into Photoshop. So I do my color. It's kind of similar to Lightroom. That's how I use Lightroom. I know people bounce back and forth between Lightroom and Photoshop, and they like where they can keep it all a catalog in one area. I don't work that way. I work in Bridge. I have different folders and just kind of move them that way. So that's my workflow. So I know some people want to plug in. It doesn't bother me, but that's my workflow. That's because I'm so old school. When I started, there was no such thing as Lightroom. It was just Photoshop. So I always stuck with that workflow and never got used to the whole Lightroom and catalog. I feel like it slowed my computer down because every year I purge things off of my external and off my servers and archive them. So I don't want a bunch of catalogs and a bunch of information anyways. I never go back to old images because once they place their order, that's my workflow. They're done. And so I'm never really going back to their images. Okay, I think I got all the questions now. We're past, but like I said, I said I'd stay on longer and answer questions. That's just what I do. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any last minute questions. You have the 30 free credits up on top. I put in the free dramatic skies to get kind of looks like this in camera. And then someone asked about the posing pack. Those links are in there as well. If you follow me on social media, I had those links ahead too. Instagram, it's just my name, Dan Freevault. I put those links in here too. If you have questions, you can just DM me. I'm happy to help. Let me switch. Or just on Facebook, it's just my name, Dan Freevault. Let me do that one. If you want to message me, that's probably the best way to message me. Too many windows open now. That's that. Instagram. So my seniors unlock, which have like different free things on there too. I'll throw a bunch of links in here. So yeah, thank you. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, I love to help out. Hopefully you guys got some good information from this, picked up some good tips. It will help. Hopefully, I definitely will help your workflow. I mean, I've saved so much time switching this. And like I said, I used to not show all retouch images. Now I'm showing retouch images. My sales have gone up. People can look at their images with confidence and also, realize that they're not over retouched like some filters you use and stuff that look like plastic. What I love about Evoto is you can adjust the texture. You still have pores. I'm not really even doing any skin softening. It's just removing blemishes, and and it just does a great job with all of that, as well as color presets, making it so quick and easy to retouch all my images and also have like cool kind of effects and looks like this as a before and after, for instance, that we mentioned. Is there a denoise option? Yeah, there's just kind of like in Lightroom. If you go under the color aspect here, actually, let me pick a different image because that one's got that preset on there. Wait, color, a full image. I gotta make sure I'm on full image. And then there's like grain and then detail. Is it detail? Sharpen radius, noise reduction. Yeah, right here, color noise reduction. So it has that as well. Leah says, awesome, used it many times before, didn't know what to do, feel so informed now. Awesome, that made my day. All right, I think we covered everything. And the other answers, I think, or other questions, I think were answered by Amy. Yeah, I think I covered everything. So if I didn't get your question answered, sorry. Like I said, send me a message on Facebook. I'll try and answer it for you. Otherwise, if you signed up for those freebies, you'll get the email to my email where you can email me and get more educational stuff. I do stuff like this all the time, not just with Evoto, but my own personal memberships and free trainings and my free seniors unlocked group, which has over like 13,000 people. If you want to join that, you'll get an email on how you can join that as well, get information there. So that is everything, I believe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me turn this off.
Thank you, Dan. Great presentation.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Amy. Thanks for having me again. And hopefully we helped some people out and didn't confuse them more because there's so many great things in here. So, yeah.
Yeah, really, really great webinar. Thank you. Thanks for taking your time and to do the webinar for us.
You're welcome. Yeah. Like I said, I went a little over, but I covered everything within the time. Anyone who wanted to stick around, they got bonus. So see, there's still 73 people on here. So I don't know how much we had total show up, but thank you everyone who did show up. And yeah, I think I can end the call now. Otherwise, I'll just keep babbling. So take care. Thank you again, everyone. Hopefully you're having a great summer and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.